The 5-inch Senko is my favorite bait to fish. It's made by Yamamoto Baits, and I always use the 5-inch green pumpkin. You're going to catch big fish, you're going to catch small fish, you're going to catch any type of bass, largemouth, smallmouth. They're going to love it. It's got a unique fall when rigged properly, weightless. That's why I always use weightless. And I use the green pumpkin red flake. That's my go-to color. Sometimes I'll do a blue flake or black flake, but red flake and the green pumpkin, I'm throwing it 90-95% of the time. Certain conditions, I like to use the black and blue colored Senko, and that's the best conditions for that is if the water's really dark or if there's not a lot of light outside. It does a really good job in those conditions. The best Senko color for smallmouth, in my opinion, is the pink color. The pink color works for largemouth too, really effective. But right around springtime, summertime, they can't get enough of that pink color. Something about it just triggers them to bite. So that bubblegum pink color, I definitely put that in your tackle box. My favorite type of hook to use with the Yamamoto Senko is the Gamakatsu EWG 3/0 hook. Now, you Texas rig it with this hook, and that's going to be the first strategy I go over. And first I'm going to show you how to rig it. You're going to slide your Senko up the hook until it starts to bend slightly going around the hook. I'm going to bring it through, then bring it up, I'll pop it until it runs straight. And I normally run it a little bit, I don't have a line tied on, but I make it go a little bit past the eye hook and onto your line. But in this case, I don't have a line, so that's perfect right there. Bend it back a little bit and hook it into itself. Now you have your exposed hook. But the great part about this weightless Texas rig with the Senko is you can make it weedless. So I'm gonna push it back up and tuck it in the skin. And bam, you can throw this in cover. You can throw this anywhere. It's not gonna get hung up. And most of the time you're gonna find a bass. The big ones like to hide out under cover and get in spots that are hard to reach, because big bass are old and old bass are smart. So the Texas rig Senko, my favorite thing about it, the basic way to fish a Senko is to cast it out, let it fall, and it has all this action. And so it looks like a worm, but it mimics a dying bait fish. That's what it's meant to do. It's in a natural color. The green pumpkin replicates natural bait fish colors or forage colors. It's a color the bass really like, smallmouth or largemouth. So a trick I learned is, you let it fall like you normally would, and you can bring it up, let it fall. Well, sometime between that, with this, I figured out it's really good to fish like a fluke. So if you give it a little pops like you would a fluke, like 2 pops, pop, pop, has a nice little S-shaped motion. And it kind of glides around. Very similar to a fluke, but it's better than a fluke because it has so much action on the fall. So you can let it fall, and you can give little pops every now and then. Especially good when it's close to the bank and it's in shallower water. You can give it a couple pops, and that could trigger a bite. Another way to rig a Senko is wacky rigging it. I have a Gamakatsu 2/0 hook. And this is a special wacky rig hook. And it's got some weed guards here. That helps prevent snagging a little bit, or mainly just getting caught in the weeds and stuff. It just protects your hook a little bit. But you're still going to get hung up with this. But this is better for open water. A follow-up bait, like if you're fishing a topwater whopper plopper and a bass comes up and misses it, you can throw this Senko up here, wacky rigged, and you're going to nail them. Well, the way I rig it is I go right in the middle, right by the smooth spot, but not on the smooth spot. I just hook it through the middle, right next to the smooth spot. And bam, you can see all the action on this wacky rig. So that's going to get you a lot of bites. I recommend throwing a wacky rig for smallmouth because most rivers you fish for smallmouth, it's kind of rocky and you can get away. You're not going to be throwing into nasty stuff like you would fishing for a largemouth in a pond or a lake. It's a lot cleaner spot to fish. The smallmouth, I'd also really recommend the pink color. The pink color nails them. But this is my favorite color all the way around, like I said. And notice how I don't put a weight on. The reason I don't like putting a weight on these two rigs is because I want the natural action and I want it to fall as slow as possible, because that'll be in the strike zone for the bass to eat your Senko. I've been leaning more towards throwing the Texas rig just because it's more universal and where you can throw your Senko, but the wacky worm has a way better hookup ratio. You're gonna get, once you get familiar with it, you're gonna get really comfortable hooking them up, and you can catch 10 fish easily in 2-3 hours. Go fish your local pond and you're gonna have a great time. Then the best part about these is, like I was saying, the price. You can buy these hooks. The hooks are the most expensive. You don't have to buy these nice Gamakatsu hooks. I like them just because they're really reliable. But like for the wacky worm, you can start off just buying the eagle claw hooks. Small eagle claw hook around the middle. I think it runs $1.99. And these, like I said, they run about $8. So you really can't beat it for budget fishing. But I'd recommend a beginner to start with this wacky worm. Get really comfortable. And if you really get into it, you can get O-rings and an O-ring tool. And slip this O-ring on and hook your hook right on the O-ring in the middle. And it'll save you a lot of worms. But the weightless part, I don't want anything interfering. Like you put the weight right here on the Texas rig. I don't want my bait diving down, falling that way. I want it to come straight down, fluttering. I think that's the most effective way to fish this Senko. If I wanted to put a weight on it, I'd probably use a big worm and something and drag it on the bottom, or a crawfish bait, something you can drag on the bottom. But the beauty of the Senko is in the fall. And you should try definitely fishing it like a fluke, because it's better than a fluke because it has the fall, but then it also moves. You'll be surprised how well it moves and how much it replicates a fluke. So those are the main points I want to cover, and I feel like those tips could help a beginner, someone just getting started fishing. I think if you can master the weightless Senko in either way and feel comfortable with it, you have a way to catch bass pretty much year round. It's going to be the hardest to catch bass when it's cold, just because it kind of has a lot of action and nothing's really moving that fast when it gets that cold. So you might want to try something else, like a Ned rig or a jig when it gets real cold. Just something, because it's hard to fish this real slow. It's because when it falls, it's going to have action. You don't want something that's more of a dead stick. But spring, summer, early fall, when the water's still, at least 60, not too cold, 55. These are money, and I'd highly recommend using the Yamato Baits Senko. Thank you guys for watching this video on the Yamato Baits Senko. I really appreciate y'all checking this video out. I hope I could help someone, and I'll be making kayak fishing videos coming up. I had a little bit of a setback. I broke my fibula pushing snow, stepping out of a loader, and so I won't be able to really fish too much till I can walk on it, but I got a little scooter I can scoot around on, so when it warms up and there's a good chance to bite, I'm going to be scooting around. So like and subscribe if you like this video, and I'll catch you all in the next one.